Magandang araw, I'm Sir Richard. Our topic for today is Intro to Hyperbola. So this will be the first video of the three videos na ipoprovide ko for week 4. This is Precalculus week 4. Our source or reference for this video is the Precalculus grade 11 first quarter provided by the Region 4A. For the review, kung matatandaan ninyo, ang ellipse, ang formula niya is x of 2 pointer. So, x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equals to 1. Since a squared yung pinakamahabang line, which is the major axis, ito, from this vertex to up to this vertex, we are to use a squared is equals to c squared plus b squared. This time, for hyperbola, basic definition, set of 2 points in a plane such that the difference of the distances of each point of the set from two fixed points. So we are referring to these lines from the focus up to point P and another focus F2 up to point P. So if we are to subtract PF1 minus PF2, that is the length of the transverse axis. Ito naman si transverse axis. Mula sa vertex 1 up to vertex 2. Kung mapapansin nyo, ang difference natin this time is mas mahaba yung C. That is why we are to use C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Ito na yung sa Pythagorean theorem. Whereas sinusundan natin yung letter C as the longest line. For the parts of the hyperbola, first we have the center. This can be at the origin, which is 0, 0, if we are in origin, or maybe we are using hk, or we have a value such as -1, 5 as our center. Next, we have the vertices. Each vertex is a unit from center. Moreover, the transverse axis has length 2a. So technically, 2a is equals to the transverse axis. Endpoints of conjugate axis. Each endpoint of conjugate axis is b units from the center, so conjugate axis is equals to 2b. Focus or the foci. Each focus is c units, so we will be using c for the foci or focus from the center and collinear to the vertices. And finally, asymptotes, yun yung dashed lines. Later on, discuss natin siya. This is an example of a horizontal hyperbola. So it is opening from left, and another one is open to the right. And another one, this is also an example of vertical. This opens upward, and we also have downward. For the parts, so as discussed, this is the focus. This is the conjugate axis. Dalawa siya from the center. Then we also have the transverse axis. Ito naman siya. This is the asymptote, the black line. If we are to refer to the letters, a squared pertains to the transverse axis. This blue is the transverse. Then we also have the b squared. So b squared refers to the conjugate axis. Then c squared is the longest line. We will be using c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared for this formula. Now, paano ba natin malalaman yung orientation ng isang hyperbola? Start na tayo sa origin. In this example, this is 0, 0. or nasa origin yung center, since walang value na kasama si x at saka si y. Also with this one. For the orientation, kapag ang positive is si x, that means horizontal tayo. Same thing goes with the center located in HK, H and K. Kapag ang value or ang positive is si x, horizontal. On the other hand, kapag ang positive is si y, vertical na tayo. This example is from the origin, and this one is may value ng HK for the center. By the way, ang standard form is x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equals to 1. Contrary dun sa ellipse, which is x squared over a squared plus b squared over y, plus y squared over b squared equals to 1. Ito yung mga way kung paano natin makukuha yung center, transverse axis, conjugate, foci, lactus rectum, directrices, and asymptotes. Although for the meantime, is hindi muna natin gagamitin to, we will try to plot them, then trace kung nasan sila. Still, we are going to use ax squared plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus f equals to 0 as our general form of the hyperbola. So, if we are to compute for the hyperbola, make sure to start with the origin. Hanapin mo natin, ano yung origin niya? Then, ano yung orientation? Is it horizontal or vertical? Ano yung values ni A at ni B? Given na ba siya sa equation? Kapag given na, tsaka natin kukunin yung value ni C. If possible, after nun, kung makuha na natin yung mga points ng center, orientation, and values, ipa-plot na natin siya sa Cartesian plane. Then, finally, we will try to get the asymptote. From horizontal ba siya or from vertical? So, let's start with the center. Kapag sinabing nasa origin siya, that means okay, once again, center. So, center. Paano natin malalaman kung nasan yung center? So, una, pag sinabing nasa origin, that gives us the idea na 0, 0 siya. Unless defined na 0, 0, we would know na iba yung value niya compared sa defined na 0, 0 or hindi. So, kapag sinabing origin, automatic ang center is nasa 0, 0. Next, kapag ang equation is ganito, x squared over 9 minus y squared over 16 equals to 1, at this instance, ibig sabihin, nasa origin pa rin siya or nasa 0, 0 pa rin siya. Paano natin malalaman kung yung center is nasa ibang location? So, center is in HK. HK. So, first, identified ba na nasa ibang location siya aside sa 0? So, for example, negative 1 or 5, sinabing nandun yung center. Or maybe, ang equation natin is y squared minus 5. This is y minus 5 raised to 2 all over 16 minus x plus 1 squared all over 9 is equals to 1. At this point, alam natin na yung value ng h at k is negative 1 and positive 5. Yan, dahil din sa 5 na yan. So, yun yung mga ways natin para malaman kung nasan yung center. Unless defined, meron tayong basis na equation or sinabi ba niya na origin. Next, we have the orientation. For the orientation, so number 2, orientation. Malalaman natin yung orientation base dun kung saan yung positive. Since ang formula natin is x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equals to 1. In this equation, ang positive is si x. Therefore, this is horizontal. Pero kapag ang equation natin is y squared over a squared minus x squared over b squared equals to 1, ang positive dito is si y. That gives us the idea that this is vertical. Yan. Next, paano naman natin malalaman yung values ni a, b, and c? So, third, values of a, b, and c. Para malaman natin yung values si a, b, and c, una, check natin, nandun na ba siya sa minus y squared over 16. Nandun na ba siya sa equation? Right now, ang equation natin is ito. At ito yung values ni a squared. At ito yung values ni b squared. So, mula dito, a squared is equals to 9. Therefore, a is equals to square root of 9, or a is equals to 3. Then, b squared is equals to 16. So, b is equals to square root of 16, or the value of b is 4. Or maybe, binanggit niya na ang transverse axis is equals to 16. Just maybe. Technically, 2a is equals to the transverse axis. So 2a is equals to 16. Therefore, a is equals to 8. We also have the conjugate axis. Conjugate. Since conjugate axis is equals to 2b, pag sinabi niya ang conjugate axis is 8, this is equals to 2b. Therefore, b is equals to 4. Yan. So, yun yung mga idea kung paano natin pwede makuha yung values ni a and b. Now, si c, unless given si focus, c is related to focus. Unless given si focus, we would know, or yung coordinates si focus, for example, that is 3, 5, compared to the center that is negative 1, 5, unless given si focus, malalaman natin kung ano yung value niya. Pero if ever na hindi man, kapag meron na tayong values ni A at ni B, pwede natin kunin ang C using the Pythagorean theorem, which is C squared is equals to A squared plus B squared. In this setup, we have 3 squared plus 4 squared, which gives us 25. Therefore, C is equals to 5. So, yun yung mga kailangan natin tandaan. Watch out for the next video para sa sample computation. Thank you.